This is my review for Gretel and Hansel. It is directed by Oz Perkins, who directed wow, wait, hold on. I gotta make sure this is right. No, okay, he didn't direct that movie. Um yeah, I was about to say. Not nothing like that I could say that probably be a movie that you would know for sure. But the movie stars Sophia Lillis. She plays in it chapter one and chapter two. She plays the young Beverly Marsh, and she's also, I think she has like Nancy Drew movie that she came out with, and she plays the younger sister. And is she the younger sister? I haven't seen this in a while. No, she's not the younger sister, but she is in um, Sharp Objects, which is on HBO. She plays the young version of Camille. Sorry. If you have not seen Sharp Objects, you need to watch that. That show was amazing. It's an HBO show. Most of their shows never are bad. They're always usually good. But definitely you should check it out. It also stars Alice Cridge, Jessica DeGo, I think Go, Charles Babalola, Ian Kenny, Samuel Leakey as Hansel. It's not many people in this movie. It's mainly Gretel, Hansel, and then the witch lady. I think they want to call her a witch in the movie, I guess. She's mainly just an old woman. Her name's Holda. The movie itself is not bad. It's a good incarnation of the Gretel and Hansel story. It is PG-13, but it was still interesting. Um, I'd say the difference, another movie that came out like a week or so before this was The Turning. The difference between this movie and The Turning is this movie was, I wouldn't say it was as interesting as The Turning, but at least it built to something and it had an ending. And you know, the story of Gretel and Hansel, it actually has Hansel and Gretel's usually have it here, but it actually has a message. This movie has a lot of different messages in it. Even though the movie itself isn't that great of a movie, the messages do resonate in the movie, and I felt that they were good messages to get across. Um, they were simple messages, but they're very important to really think about, especially in everyday life as well. Um, Things like beware of people who bring gifts and offer gifts, and beware of gifts from the world, because you know people usually expect something in return, things like that. um, Also beware of people like who willingly always accept gifts, things like that. Just a bunch of different messages in the movie. The movie shows why the messages are being said and plays off on that. The movie itself is very weird. I will tell you that. You might be thrown off about it because you know they're both young. There's things that they have to deal with as children that are big issues. They don't really go too deep in it, but there's certain things, certain scenes where you're like, wow, these are kids, and this is kind of wow. But it's nothing like too bad because it's PG-13. It can't go that far. Um, the whole thing with them meeting the witch and everything, it was interesting how it played out. Um, the movie, I feel like it's missing that piece to take it over the top, but it was good enough. Like, I understand why it was released in theaters. Not bad. I'd say it's definitely good. It's a decent movie. It's not a top, like, I think the Rotten Tomato consensus is like 61%. And I agree with that. It's about 61%. Usually I don't agree with them, but that's about how I felt about it. It's a decent, average movie that you can watch. Definitely a decent horror movie to watch one day. And be like, oh, this is pretty interesting. Especially if you care about the story of Hansel and Gretel, because that story in itself is pretty deep and interesting. And that's the main reason why I watched the movie, because it's a good story and has good lessons. All those good little tales have good lessons in them, even though that they may be simple sometimes. But definitely, I'd say see it when you see it. Not something you'd have to like rush and go see in the theaters. But I say definitely see it when you see it. Check it out if you really want to watch a horror movie. Underwater and this will probably be the best two that you could see right now. I know Fantasy Island comes out later this week, but we don't know how that's going to be. You know how Blumhouse is. They have a premise, and then it either works to the end or it kind of falls off, and it's like, okay, this is not really worth it. But definitely, I say see it when you see it. It's not a bad movie at all. Definitely a decent, average movie. Thank you guys so much for your time and support. Don't forget to like, dislike, comment, subscribe. And thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch these videos and reviews.